Okay, hello friends. As we have discussed the basis of the pattern of the classification. Now what we are discussing today is that on the basis of pattern of digestive system, how we can divide or classify the animals. First thing is here we are talking about the holozoic animals, means they are taking the food, they are ingesting, they are digesting, and they are just removing the waste from out of their body. So what is required over there? Here required two things, that for ingestion that is mouth and for egestion that is anus. But unfortunately what happens, as we go from all the phylum from the porifera to chordata, we will not find that all the digestive system are well developed in all the organisms. As per there we are having two type of digestive system. One is what? Digestive system we can divide into incomplete digestive system and complete digestive system. So first let us understand that what do you mean by the complete and what do you mean by the incomplete digestive system. So here as we know we are having the incomplete digestive system. So it means what? They are having only the single opening. What they are having? They are having single opening. Single opening means like this in the hydra, that this is the mouth part and the food will enter here. Food is going in. Okay, and after digestion, after accumulation, what happens here? They will just remove the waste out. So here waste is coming out of the body. Now you can see here very clearly that is only having the one tract. That is why we have written they outside of the body and work as the mouth and anus. What they are having? They are having single opening. So you can see here we are having the mouth part which is single opening. This is the gastrovascular cavity, where gastrovascular cavity means what? That it is one stomach hole. Okay. Now as we talking about the hydra and platyhelminthes, these are the two examples in which what happens, only one tube-like structure is having. We can call them as a blind sac plant that we will see in the body plan. Okay, so here we are talking about the digestive system. So what we found here is some animal like hydra and platyhelminthes, they are having one tube-like structure and only one opening is there, that we call them as the mouth, and plus we can call them as a anus too. Why anus? Why we call them anus? Because they ingest the food from the same mouth definitely, and they just throw out the waste. So that is why we call them as a anus. Now what about the complete digestive system? What do you mean by this complete digestive tract? You can see. So here we are having what? Two opening, that is mouth and anus. Means those are the higher animals which are having what? Mouth for the ingestion and anus for egestion, means giving out of the waste material after digestion as per the normal happen. So here you can see any animals. If we draw a fish, okay, so here it is having its very good mouth. Okay, it is having mouth and the digestive system, it is just having the digestive system and it is having what? They are having one out pore, that is this is the anus and this is the mouth. Okay, so what we see here, कि after having the mouth they will just ingest the food, food goes in, they will eat, they will enjoy eating, and after passing through this digestive system, what happens? The waste material will come out of the from the other point, that is known as the anus. So here what is there? Waste is coming out from the anus. So that is why this type of system is known as what? Complete digestive tract, in which two openings are there. One is the mouth to get in the food and anus to remove out the waste. Now we will talk about that the animals, when they are developing during the embryonic lifetime, from the blastula they goes to what? Gastrulation stage. So what happens? Many parts start formation. So what happens? Sometime what happens? Some animals are having what? They form mouth part first and anus part second. Some animals, what happen during the embryonic development, what we see that कि they anus form first and mouth form last. Means after anus will form and then will be mouth is going to be formed. So what happens here? We have divided them into two groups. That is, one is the protostomes. What is that? Protostomes. In the protostomes, what happened? Here we can see the mouth develop first. What develop first? During this embryonic time, like the blastula, this is the blastopore. Do you remember this point? That is what? Blastopore. Always in exam they will ask what is the part of the embryonic life cycle and the life, what from where the mouth and anus is developing. So we must know that blastopore is here. So you can see here the blastula, they will go further development, and here when they will reach to the gastrulation stage, here you can see a insertion inside. They are just moving inside. Here you can see, which makes what? Archentron. This gap is known as what? Archentron. And finally these are the coelom which are developing over there. We will discuss about the coelom also. So this blastopore what? Get inserted and like here there will be make the path. So from this part what is made? Mouth is made, and from other part here means after mouth there what it makes? Anus will, and this is what? Digestive tube. So here what we get in some animals, when we study their development during the embryonic stage, we find that in some animals we find that mouth develop first, in some animals we find the anus develop first. We divided them very clearly into two types. What is that? One is the protostomes. Protostome means here very clearly written mouth develop first. In what? Their embryonic life. What are the examples over there that we can conclude? That is Escalacenthis, Annelida and mollusk. These are the animals in which we find their protostomes. So in exam they will not ask you that what do you mean by the protostomes. What they will ask you, which type of pattern of digestive system found in the Escalacenthis, Annelida or mollusk. So you must know it. What is that? They are known as the protostomes. And protostomes itself define it that the mouth develops first during the embryonic life cycle. Second is what we have talked about, that sometimes anus develop first. What is that? So we call them as a deuterostome. Deuterostomes. What happens here? We find that anus develop first in their embryonic life cycle. When we study their embryonic life cycle, we find that anus develop first. So here we find two animals, that is Echinodermata and Chordata. So like this, it is the very important basis of classification in which we can study about the type of digestive tract. Next we will see about the circulatory system, that is open circulatory system and closed circulatory system. Okay. So after discussing what? Pattern of digestive system, the next basis of classification is what? Pattern of circulatory system. Okay. So here it is very important, that is circulatory system. Why it is important? Because they have to, the blood has to reach to every tissue and every cell, and it is the only the medium to transport the nutrients, transport the gas and gases exchange and everything. So what we are having is that as we gone through the various, as we are now, this is the basis of classification, and we have to study about the animals, whether they are having the similar type of circulatory system or different type of circulatory system. As we will go in the vertebrates, we will find the different type of heart also, 2-chambered, 3-chambered, 4-chambered, as we are having in the human being. So what does our heart do? Heart pumps the blood. What is the work of heart? So heart pumps the blood, and blood flow throughout the body through the arteries, veins and all. So on this pattern, many animals are not having this type of system in which that they are having capillaries, veins and all. So they should reach on the each and every cell. What we are having, we have divided them into, one is what? Open circulatory system, and second is what? Closed circulatory system. So we are having open and closed circulatory system. Now let us understand it. what does it mean by the open and what does it mean by the closed circulatory system. So we know that in the lower animals, like we are having what? Arthropod, mollusk and hemichordate and tunicates, that is urochordates, they are having the open type of circulatory system. What is this? Here blood pumped out from the heart. Work of heart is what? Pumping the blood. They will supply the blood. Go and reach to the each and every part of the cell and supply the nutrients and supply the gas oxygen. That they should be active every time. So here the tissue, what happens here? Directly bathed in it. What happened? They directly get bathed in it. There is no veins, no arteries, no capillaries, nothing is there. Okay, so here what is that cavity called? That is called the hemocoel. The cavity in which the heart pumps the blood and it reaches in the cavity, that is known as what? Hemocoel. Okay, and here we are not having in these animals like in arthropod, mollusk, we are not having the red blood. What we are having? We are having the fluid that is made up of what? Blood and interstitial fluid. What makes it? Hemolymph. What is made here? It is made hemolymph. Now here, as the blood is not there, hemolymph is there. Why? Because the blood and intestinal fluid together mix up, they move in the hemocoel and they again come back to the heart through the ostia. Like we are having arthropod, mollusk, hemichordate and tunicates. So let's see. Here suppose we are having one insect. Insect body is divided into what? Thorax and abdomen. Okay, just only we are doing, just to understand only we are doing here. So what we are having? Now look, we are having a patches of heart over there. They are connected from each other. Okay, they are connected to each other. They are connected to each other here. Like this they are connected. Okay, the hearts are connected. These are the pumping organs. Okay, we write this is the heart of the insect. Okay, now what is there? This will move the blood. This will move the pump the blood, and the blood will, what they are doing? The blood is moving in the hemocoel. So this is the cavity, what we call as the hemocoel. Hemocoel, where they pump out the blood in the whole tissue and level. So they will go in the tissue, because what we are writing about, the whole tissue is get bathed in it what? Hemolymph. Okay. Now there are the pores. What happens? All the blood comes back to the heart from the pore. Here they are having what? Pores, which is called what? These pores are called ostia. What is called? These are called the ostia. So blood will flow in the tissues and they again go where? They will go again into the heart through what? Through the ostia. So like this what happens? The blood directly moves out and they go into the hemocoel, and from the heart they go to the hemocoel, they will go and bath it to all the tissue, all the organs, okay, all the cells. They get the nutrition, everything, and again come back to the ostia. So this thing you remember always. Ki blood is moved in the arthropod. What happens? The blood is moved in the hemocoel. It goes from the heart and it returns back from the ostia. Okay. Now let us come to the next part, that is known as what? Circulatory. That is the closed circulatory system. What is that? Closed circulatory system. What does it mean? It means that blood is circulated through a series of vessels. What is that? We are having series of vessels. Don't forget, we are having series of vessels, and they are what? Varying diameter. Varies diameter means they are not in the same diameter as we know. What are these vessels? They are the arteries, they are the veins, they are the capillaries. Okay, as you take the example of human being, we are having 4-chambered heart. Okay, and one chamber, one part of the heart, that is ventricle and auricle, both combined one side, and there is other auricle, another ventricle which is known as the left side and right side, they constitute what? 4 chamber. And 2 part of the heart. 1 part of the heart, sinus, they collect the blood, that is deoxygenated blood from the body. Okay, they are from the veins. Veins collect the, means bring the what? Deoxygenated blood from the whole body except pulmonary veins. Remember that. Except pulmonary veins in the human. Okay, so veins bring and it moves to what? It goes to pulmonary, that is lung, where the oxygenation process is done, and again it brings by the arteries which supply the blood. What happens here? The capillaries distribute to each part of the cell, tissue and all, and it is found in what? Annelida and vertebrates. Okay, so like this what happens? As we know, here suppose this is the heart, it supply the blood, okay, and this is the tissue. So here they just leave the blood, here blood is left, but in the closed system what happens here? They makes the capillary. What they make? They make the capillary, and here is the tissue. You can write what? Here is the tissue. So here what you see? You will see a network. You will see a network that is combining here. So these are the capillaries which just throw the blood, and this is coming and this is collecting. Here what happened? Here totally blood are spill on the tissue. No connection is there. So that is why this is also the major basis of classification of the animals, that is known as what? Pattern of circulatory system. After that we are having what? We will see about the symmetry. Okay, if we divide the animals, so whether it can be divided into two equal halves or not. So let us discuss about the symmetry.